You've read the books, you've said the affirmations, so why do you still feel it? The truth is this: you cannot think your way out of a body that is still vibrating yesterday's alarms. What if healing isn't about more words, but about tuning your frequency? Stay with me here. In the next few minutes, you will feel a shift. No oversharing, no resharing, no trauma dumping, just simply vibrating. Hey there, beautiful humans, and welcome back to another episode of the Mindful Monday. I'm your girl, your host, that's right, Erica Trimnell, also known as the Mindful Mistress. My mission is to really help you move from burnout to balance, from a scattered to sovereignty in your body through vibrational awareness and vibrational alignment. Here, we don't just do about the fluff. We don't bypass the pain with just toxic positivity. We don't hustle for our healing either. What we do is we return to resonance. That's right, our true internal frequency. This is the place where your nervous system, your voice, your truth, they all are vibrating in sync. So today's episode, we are going to talk about not talking about our trauma. That's the first thing, right? You know, I really love this because I help individuals in community transmute their trauma by reconnecting to the intelligence that we already have inside of us, the vibrational frequency that we have. So that's integrating sound, integrating energy, plant medicine, emotional balance, spiritual alignment, and cellular safety at the end of the day. And for those of you who are new here, please like, share, subscribe, do all of the things. Welcome, most importantly. Today, I'm so excited because we are talking about energy and frequency. These are some of my favorite topics, especially when it comes to being able to transform and transmute our trauma without the talk therapy. That's right, without having to regurgitate everything. So if you have ever felt like therapy gave you great insights, I am a huge proponent of therapy. I've been through therapy. I have family members that I recommend, friends, even clients who I recommend therapy to. But if you felt like therapy gave you these amazing insights, but your body still snapped back into that same routine, that same maybe fawning pattern, that same trauma response, it's okay. You are not broken. You are tuned, and you can change the frequency in which your body starts to respond and understand. Like I said, you cannot think your way out of a body that is constantly vibrating on yesterday's or 2 days ago's or 3 days ago's or years ago trauma and alarm. So I want to tell you a story about a girl named Maya. She was brilliant, kind, did years this person went to therapy since they were a little child, and her inner child knew therapy like it was a TED Talk, and probably can regurgitate and probably even be a therapist herself. That's how long she had been going to therapy. However, she still felt the Sunday tights, where the tightness in her chest would lock up like a jaw as she thought about the week ahead. So what we started to do was integrate some frequency-based practices. So gentle breathing, some bilateral sounds, some I can't say it. PEMF. There we go. It's that dyslexia kicking in. It's the PEMF sessions, and then also adding some color therapy. So about 2 weeks into this, she was able to start feeling into her body. If you're new here and you haven't seen some of my episodes, one of the things that I believe, and this goes back to the foundation, is that our body is a library. Our body does not lie. Our body holds on to every single moment of our lives, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. So to be able to reprogram that, you have to use the body to reprogram really your thoughts and your mind, because you can do some really great work with therapy, but if it's not therapy that is using somatics or using, some trauma release techniques, you're going to have a really hard time getting getting through that. I don't want to say over it, getting through that. So by using some of those tools, they didn't have to be a dramatic purge like maybe you would see with ayahuasca or some other ceremonies. There's no reliving the trauma. It's just recalibrating your own frequency. So this is what we do here at Prism Vibes. We are here to elevate our vibrations. We're here to transform our lives. But let me break it down to you, because it's really about attuning to things that work for you, attuning to a frequency, attuning to a situation, a person that works for you. So what is frequency-based healing? I'm glad that you asked. So everything in this world, I'm here in my messy desk, like this, my protein drink, my passport that's here. Don't ask me why I have my passport at my desk, but just in case you gotta go, you gotta go. But anyway, everything is frequency: sound, light, movement, scent, breath, even our thoughts. Our nervous system is literally an orchestra of signals. Trauma is when the orchestra keeps playing that thunder long song that's like storms after storms after the storms have passed. It keeps playing the thunder in that orchestra, or it keeps playing that note or sonata that represents that particular incident or situation in your life long after that situation has occurred. So to just really break it down and to plainly speak, sound can really entrain your heart rate and your breath rate. So you can start to reprogram how your body responds, your breath rate. Where your breath goes, that's where your mind flows, is what we used to say. Light and color can also influence your mood and your circadian rhythm. So by using these different tools, these different modalities, including when we are at the movement piece, the somatic vibrational, which really helps to discharge that stuck energy, we really can make magic here. And it's really not magic. It's totally backed by science. But leveraging these tools that we all have at our own disposal, the breath is really a remote control for our vagus nerve system. These are the types of modalities that I blend and I recommend that people utilize, so that you can really start to process that library of situations that we have in us. So the PEMF, which I couldn't say earlier, stands for pulse electromagnetic field. So these are gentle pulses that some people use to support the relaxation and recovery method. When you bring in the light therapy, you create hues. So if you see, sometimes I've got hues in my background, or you'll see it other creators, they use those hues. That invokes a certain mood, a certain regulation. EMDR, right? That's that bilateral stimulation that a licensed clinician can use, but you can also do like some bilateral tapping to help regulate you. So for any of that not processed trauma, again, giving it a way to move through your body. I'm a huge proponent of sound and movement. And so humming, swaying, doing all these things, these micro movements, although they are small, they are so powerful for setting the tone to regulate you so that you can release, you can bring that safety back into your body. And of course, breath work and that nervous system are like two peas in a pod. This isn't about, what I hope you get from this isn't about replacing medical care or licensed therapy. This is about giving your body a new language. This is about giving you a new way to talk to your body, so you can understand the vibration of safety and what that feels like for you, so you know how to return to it and when you are off. So there is a difference between thinking differently and vibrating differently. And so many people have it so screwed up. We're so focused on mindset. And many of us have these great, these impeccable insights, but yet we're still signaling to ourselves that trauma response. We're still picking up on those cues. Our body is still doing the things. So think of it like this. It's your Wi-Fi is weak. You are downloading a new mindset that still buffers. The frequency-based healing really boosts the signal between your brain, your heart, your gut, so that the update that you did with a mindset actually installs in your system. So trauma 101. Trauma is not I don't want to deduce it and just make trauma is a memory. It's not just a memory. Trauma is a physical response. It is a pattern that your nervous system repeats to keep you safe. Point blank, period. So when words cannot touch those patterns, sound, light, movement, breath certainly can. They invite you to release without resharing your story, without re-traumatizing yourself, which is why I am a big proponent of these types of modalities. You don't have to rip open the wound just so that you can heal. You can simply retune yourself, recalibrate yourself. You have to recognize the hidden frequencies, though. You have to decode the energy behind those words. So think of it like, a stressed parent would say, I'm fine, but their voice is light and their shoulders are up to their ears. So the child doesn't hear I'm fine. The child actually hears the frequency of urgency, hears the frequency of stress. How many of you been in that situation? I certainly have. And so one of the things that it does, parents here, stick with me, is that your child then starts to understand that you can betray yourself and that's okay, right? I can say one thing, although I'm feeling something else. And this starts to create the separation between the mind, the heart, and the body. You start programming that in our children when we do that. When we say things that are opposite to what our body and what our frequency is actually broadcasting. So this can create an anxious child. So the child maybe will say nothing, but then starts holding on to that frequency, your emitting parent, and starts pacing or starts having heavy breathing that's very shallow. Their room starts to, you start to see it because it gets cluttered or they're not doing well at school. How this represents in work, an email that says no rush, but yet there is this underlying tone of like, you better get this done, right? Or brace for your boss to go crazy. So when you learn to sense tone, tempo, breath, these micro movements, you start to speak in that language first, and you start to understand your own nervous system. So the good thing is you can change the room by changing your vibe, slowing down your breath rate, softening your gaze, restoring your voice, and then the people in your life will mirror those regulations as well. I can't speak. They'll mirror those regulations as well. So let's do a short exercise. Let's do a little mini interactive healing session. So if you're driving or you need medical care, skip this, come back to it later. If strong emotions arise, please know that you have the autonomy to stop, ground yourself, and reach out to somebody else for help. Reach out to a professional, reach out to a therapist, a coach, what have you. You have the autonomy. I'm giving you permission to say no to this, to skip past it and forward. So let's just take a few moments and look around the room, maybe think of 2 or 3 colors that you see as you just orient yourself to your space. When you orient yourself to your space, even if it's a new space, it helps program safety. Especially when you look behind you, that there are no killers, right? There's nobody trying to harm you. There is no danger. That helps you. So by noticing colors, see what colors stick out to you. That could say a lot. Feel where your body maybe meets the chair, or if you're standing upright. Whisper to yourself, right now I am safe enough. And maybe just focus on your breathing. Maybe you can do some ratio breathing where it's inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. So inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Inhale for 4. Exhale. And maybe try that a few more times. And on the exhale, imagine fogging up a mirror with a quiet hum or a so the cue or tip here is that you want your exhales to be longer than your inhales. The exhale is where you get that release, because when we inhale, think of when you want to scream, right? That movement sends your body into stress, weird fight, flight, all of the things. So it's focusing on that exhale, having it longer. So inhale for 4, exhale for 6. 4. Exhale for 6 on a ah. However it comes out, that's fine. No judgment here. We're not here to judge what the sound is like. Then when it comes to some bilateral movement, we can do what's called a butterfly hug. So that's slowly, you got your little butterfly here, and it's just taps on gentle on either side, alternating left and right. And so what this does is it programs frequency it programs the frequency of safety, there we go, into our bodies. So I'm already feeling safe. And we can seal in this practice by putting our hand on our heart and our belly and just whispering, thank you for creating safety within me today. Thank you for creating safety. And seal that in. Let me know, how did that feel? It's a short little exercise that you could do, short little routine. It goes back, if you saw my video on habit stacking, it goes back to habit stacking or ritual stacking or self-care stacking, or however you want to phrase it, but taking little routines and putting them together as one. You do not have to do a very long, that could have been only a fraction of our breath work for the day, or only a fraction of a meditation, but you can do small tips. So the 5 simple ways to explore frequency-based are what we just did. So doing some breathing ratios, whether it's 4, 6, whether it's 5, 7, 2 to 3 times a day, maybe for 2 to 3 minutes. Again, it's up to you what feels right for your body. Doing some sort of bilateral exercise, whether it's the butterfly tapping or you're moving something bilateral, to be able to watch that. Doing a sound cleanse, so where you're using binaural beats and listening to that for a little bit. Color zone, picking up colors or having a deck with colors, so you start to program the mood, the emotion behind those colors. And then maybe a little vibrational shake, a little hum or something for 60 seconds. These small little micro movements give you really big releases. These aren't just cues, they are dials. So you can use and dial up or dial down. So do them slowly. And if they're working with you and your trauma, consider partnering this with some talk therapy, with some EMDR, with some plant medicine, with whatever other tool works for you. Again, being able to layer these practices can really create a supportive environment for you to be able to release your trauma. Again, not necessarily with words. So for some people, this, might be a little too woo-woo, but if what you mean by woo means that you're actually working directly with your body, your body's electromagnetic field and your nervous system, sure, call it woo. But it is actually proven by science. So, but seriously here, we're using breath, we're using rhythm, we're using light, we're using sensation. These are all ancient tools, comes from ancient wisdom. And then you can couple it with your talk therapy, if you will, because again, we talked about that Wi-Fi signal. Yeah, you're downloading this new information, having this new aha, but it's not really getting to your body to create that lasting change, because the trauma is keeping it stuck because you haven't created the safety in your body to receive that Wi-Fi signal. So again, you can pair it with that. Or if you're someone like me and you feel like talk therapy has taken you far enough and you want to do some more neurosomatic work or somatic work, find you a somatic therapist to work with. Know that your body is a beautiful library, that you have the clues, that you have the key. You just need to tune into that frequency. Yes, I know that rhyme. That was so corny. But hey, that is who I am sometimes. These tools are really good to help you regulate, and know that you are not alone in processing your trauma. Over 70% of us have had at least one traumatic experience, and I'm the person who's willing to go on a limb and say that number is probably far too low than 70%, especially for those of us who lived through the pandemic. I consider that to be one, but anywho, we won't go into that. So if you felt maybe even one 1 point shift in how you felt for the week, that 1 point is enough to keep building on the momentum. So that is my vision for you. That is maybe my challenge for you, is find things that give you, even if it's just that 1 point shift, because that's what it takes. Those ones, they add up to a complete release, a complete transformation. And next thing you know, you're looking back and you no longer have those programmed responses or patterns that you used to have. Thank you so much for joining me on this Mindful Monday. I'm so happy to be back with you. Took a little time off. It's been a crazy summer. I can't wait to unveil some of the new things that I have been working on. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, put something down in the comments if this helpful. If maybe you took a pulse on where you were in the beginning and you have a pulse on where you are now. Would love to know how this was helpful and if there's anything else that I can provide for you. Bye.